Deathstroke is set to be the next villain in Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League for Season 4 coming up in January 2025. And oh man, this actually seems like it actually could be a major W for Rocksteady.
Look! It's a big W, I tell you! It's a big W!
Now of course Suicide Squad Season 3 has just begun, but we're already getting more news on what Deathstroke can be in the next season. Now of course no doubt the next season of Kill the Justice League will probably most likely just be mostly about Gotham and more missions and more of the most pointless upgrades that no one really cares about. But me personally, I think this is definitely the best character they could have added up until this point. I think most of the past 3 characters haven't been as interesting as Deathstroke is. First season, of course, we had the Joker, or the Jonkler, as we like to call him. Then we had Mrs. Freeze in Season 2. I'm not really that fond of the gender switch, but it's alright. It works for the story. However, I actually do think this is probably the most interesting character up until we got into this point. And of course, we got Deadshot's daughter for Season 3 recently, which I think no one really cares about at all. However, I am very curious to see how they bring Deathstroke into this universe. Hopefully they give him actually a really good intro and don't make it like this.
Put it in me.
Now, do I think this update will actually bring more people back to Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League? Probably not, but there is a chance. Deathstroke is also one of those DC characters that is so flexible, so different in every other way that he can use any type of combat ability to his advantage. He's also of course known for his swords and his multiple firearms, and of course is a very flexible martial artist. And this could definitely add a little bit of spice to the gameplay that we're so bland with when it comes to Suicide Squad. I mean, Suicide Squad's gameplay with all the characters so far haven't been the best, and even with up to Joker, up to Mrs. Freeze, not all of them have had that many special abilities such as Deathstroke can bring to the table, so that's one thing to really look out for in this new season. I certainly wouldn't mind if we saw him as a boss to eventually actually going on to unlock Deathstroke in the game. I mean, I think that would be a very cool and unique idea to have him as a boss, but just don't make him as hard and as crazy as Arkham Origins Deathstroke. I think that would be pushing it a little bit too far. We can also see Deathstroke with having his own agenda, as he's always been more of an assassin that works himself and has always been alone. So maybe when the missions come around, we may not actually see him work with the squad, and he may as well just go off in his solo zone. That's probably what could happen if they actually play this right and actually go by the book of what Deathstroke actually is really like. Just like Batman, Slade Wilson is also of course prone to just making sure his stealth is always on point. I think if having a stealth aspect into this game, especially with Deathstroke, would actually help him with what his character actually is. Things like silent takedowns from above, or even just having smoke grenades in his arsenal to take down multiple enemies. I also would see his bow staff as definitely a must in combat encounters, and really having that as his primary weapon would actually add a lot more flair to the combat. I can't really be bugged about the character design. At the end of the day, it doesn't really matter. They could go for a classic armoured, or they could go for a comic book variant. I really don't prefer just the comic book variant. I mostly go for the armoured version of Deathstroke, similar to the one in Arkham Origins. Even if they have the Arkham Origins suit and just tweak it a little bit to make it suit their kind of universe, I'd like that a lot. They could involve multiple various side missions with Deathstroke and Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League, such as probably contracts and wanting Dead or Alive missions, pretty much assassinating targets in the game. And if you know, with the Suicide Squad map, it does change to fit in the Arkham universe, such as kind of like how we got the buildings from Gotham in Arkham Knight, and a few like different drastic changes. One thing I'd love to see in the Deathstroke kind of DLC they're going for is the sniper, because of course Deathstroke is a master marksman. He knows his way around various sniper rifles, and having the kind of mission as to trying to use a sniper rifle would also be very different and something that we haven't really seen before in Suicide Squad yet. And this would combine him as to being one of the most favourable characters in Suicide Squad yet. I don't know what characters they're going to be adding in the future. I don't know how long this game has got left, but the player count is still gradually going down every single month. I do personally think Rocksteady has made a better choice in this aspect by going for a much more popular character, and one character that we can all really agree with is a very good character for the game. You can only have so much of Jonkler, you can only have so much as Lady Shiva, you can only have so much as Mrs. Freeze, but it all comes down to who the fans want to play as and who they actually want to see more of in different various games, including DC. And I think if Suicide Squad wants to succeed in the future, they have to go with more diverse characters in the DC universe. If this is the rise of Suicide Squad and it actually is starting to get better, and I could just be wrong from what they actually have going up in store, and they actually will eventually revive Suicide Squad as a whole, make sure you let me know your guys' thoughts down below, because I don't even know if they're going to end up reviving this game from just a couple of good characters. I think it's just going to take a whole lot more than that. However, let me know your guys' thoughts down in the comment section. What do you think of Deathstroke joining in Suicide Squad roster? Do you think it's a good idea? Do you think Rocksteady are going to benefit from this in the long run? Feel free to leave your comments and your opinions down below. And who else would you like to see in the DC universe being added to in the next season? And if you guys enjoyed this video, you'll like this video that's up on your screen now. Take care, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace.